What if the person killing dozens of strangers wasn't trying to spread fear at all? What if he was just trying to feel something again? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why that question breaks the case wide open. Midnight arrives, fireworks bloom over the city, and for a few seconds everything is perfect. Then people start dropping. Not one or two, dozens in different parts of the city, with no visible cause and no clear point of origin. Panic tears through the crowd as officers scramble to make sense of what's happening. A young patrol officer named Eleanor is handling an unrelated bar disturbance when she notices a wall of squad cars racing past with their lights blazing. She abandons the call and follows. At the scene, she finds a shattered family, a wife and daughter in shock beside a body, while forensic teams try to pinpoint where the attack came from. The trail leads to a nearby apartment. Just as officers move to breach it, the unit explodes, forcing a full evacuation of the building. Convinced the attacker could be hiding among the fleeing residents, Eleanor orders every exit filmed and starts recording herself. When firefighters arrive to help clear the building, she pushes up a smoke-choked stairwell alone, determined not to leave anyone behind, and collapses before she reaches the top floor. She wakes up on oxygen, scolded by her supervisor for taking an unnecessary risk that could have gotten her killed. Investigators soon learn the exploded apartment wasn't even the bomber's home. He'd simply used it, then destroyed it to erase his tracks. It's the first sign they're dealing with someone meticulous, someone who plans. The case escalates fast enough to bring in the FBI. Special Agent Jeffrey Lamar takes command and gives the team a warning. This isn't a terrorist cell, it's a single, highly intelligent individual who blends perfectly into ordinary life and has left almost nothing behind. While the senior officers debate theories, Eleanor, still just a junior cop stuck serving coffee, quietly disagrees with the room. She doesn't think this is about ideology or a bigger political agenda. She thinks the attacker is a deeply wounded person chasing a personal kind of relief, which is exactly why she believes he'll strike again. Lamar overhears her, and instead of dismissing her, he's intrigued. The next morning, he pulls her out of patrol entirely and asks her to join the investigation directly, alongside a seasoned detective named Jack McKenzie. It's an enormous leap for someone so junior, but Lamar tells her plainly that her instincts see things no one else on the team can. The task force digs in. Surveillance footage turns up nothing. Some investigators believe the attacker spent nearly 2 years preparing. Others note his equipment is decades old and nearly impossible to trace. When outside agencies start freelancing their own leads, Lamar reins the whole operation back under his control. Eleanor proposes tracing the equipment's ownership history instead, a lead Lamar backs immediately. Medical examiners confirm what the team already suspects. This is the work of someone extraordinarily patient, disciplined, and precise, possibly with professional training. And there's no personal connection between any of the victims, which means the motive is something bigger than revenge. A promising break arrives when a man barricades himself in an apartment and tries to flee when confronted. The entire team rushes over, only to discover he has nothing to do with the case at all. Lamar reminds everyone that unverified leads can derail an investigation just as easily as they can crack one. Back to square one, the team starts interviewing painters who'd previously worked inside the original apartment building. 2 check out fine. But one mentions that a coworker had quietly paid another man to cover his shifts, a man who developed an unusual interest in long-range shooting. That name is Dean. While the team chases the lead, Eleanor is formally transferred onto the FBI task force and goes through a routine medical screening that flags an iron deficiency needing follow-up. When Lamar finds out she never mentioned the results, he's furious that she wasn't upfront with him, and Eleanor is left wondering if she's already lost his trust before she's even proven herself. That night, Lamar finds her walking home and offers her a ride, apologizes for overreacting, and invites her to dinner. Over the meal, Eleanor opens up about her past, a difficult childhood, an earlier FBI application she was rejected from for not being emotionally ready, and a long road of rebuilding herself through police work. Listening to her, Lamar starts to understand exactly why her read on the case is different from everyone else's. The investigation takes a violent turn when a man behaves erratically inside a crowded shopping mall restroom, triggering a stampede before he vanishes, having changed his appearance on camera. The only lead is a shirt he discarded, which has already been hauled off to the landfill. Eleanor and Jack go undercover as a couple to search for it, but a tip sends them chasing a group of suspicious strangers instead. The confrontation spirals into chaos and injures bystanders, and it turns out the entire tip was fabricated by people looking for attention. Furious, Senior officials use the fiasco and Eleanor's personal history as an excuse to pull both her and Lamar off the case entirely. Refusing to quit, Eleanor keeps digging on her own and realizes one of the painters lied to investigators. Under pressure, he admits he paid a man named Dean to cover his job. A sketch artist builds a portrait, and a butcher shop finally puts a name to the face: Dean Posey. Eleanor and Lamar track Dean's family to their home, where they learn his father once worked as a shooting instructor, explaining his precision, and his mother reveals that a childhood accident left Dean physically and emotionally scarred, cutting him off from any future he'd hoped for and slowly isolating him from everyone around him. Mid-conversation, Eleanor spots two cups sitting outside, a sign someone else is nearby. Before she can react, a long-range shot rips through the scene and Lamar goes down. Dean's mother begs her not to move, then walks outside herself, pleading with her son to stop and accept help. He doesn't answer. Devastated, she makes an impossible choice, and it's that moment that finally draws Dean out into the open, rifle in hand. Alone inside, Eleanor talks him down long enough to get him to set the weapon aside. She tells him gently that hurting more people will never give him the peace he's looking for, and promises he'll get real help if he surrenders. Dean finally opens up. He says he's lost faith in a world he sees as broken beyond saving, and admits he no longer sees a future for himself. He agrees to surrender, but only if Eleanor promises his final wishes will be honored after everything is over. Then sirens close in. Dean assumes Eleanor set him up, shoves her aside, and bolts outside as the entire block turns into a standoff. Eleanor keeps pleading with him through the chaos, but he's no longer listening. In the struggle that follows, Dean is badly hurt and flees into the woods, where the task force finally tracks him down. Surrounded and exhausted, he seems ready to give up, until one last move forces the officers to respond. The case that shook the entire city is finally closed. Eleanor is barred from discussing the final confrontation while it's under review, and offered a permanent position as an FBI analyst. She turns it down at first, until she's told that pushing forward without authorization could cost her career instead. Before accepting, she makes one final request: that the FBI formally recognize Lamar for the leadership that carried the entire investigation. They agree. Only then does she take the job. If you made it this far, you already know this isn't your average thriller. So hit subscribe, drop a comment telling me what you think really broke Dean, and I'll see you in the next one. Show